the structure of a high converting long form VSL or TSL. This is what we are going to be talking about today. Hey, it's Svet, the Copywriting Titan, and in today's video, I'm going to be telling you about the structure of high converting long form VSL, and we're going to be talking specifically about the health niche. So let's get into it because there's a lot to pack, and this is actually going to be the first part. There's going to be two parts because it's just going to be a very, very long video. So the first and most important element, or one of the most important elements of high converting long form VSL or TSL, which is text sales letter, and VSL is video sales letter, is the headline. Here are a few examples. When it's a VSL, the headline doesn't need to be very, very long. When it's a TSL, it has to be longer. So these are examples for TSL. The real cause of XYZ problems isn't A or B, it's this invisible toxin. The idea here is to make the audience really, really excited and curious about what is this invisible toxin, or what is this, I wouldn't use magical or whatever, but something like this. There's another one, the potent Eastern elixir that targets XYZ quickly and easily. So targets, obviously this is targeting the problem. And here's another one, the XYZ trick lowers, this XYZ trick lowers A and B without C. So for example, this Eastern Asian trick lowers blood sugar and cholesterol without crazy diets or something. So this could be a nice example. So the idea of the headline here is to make the reader, or if somebody is watching the video, to just pay attention, because that's very important. Now, the second and probably even more important element actually is the lead. Because sometimes people just skip the headline. They might be interested, they might not be, but they might just listen. If it's a VSL, they might listen to the first few seconds and decide whether it's worth listening to the rest. So there are a few different types of leads. I have mentioned three of them here. And of course, there are some more, but for the sake of brevity, I'm going to be focusing just on three right now that are the most common ones. So one of the best ways to write a lead is to use a pattern interrupt. For example, take a look at this XYZ. So that's an object, and it's usually unrelated to the video, or at least that's what it seems like at first. For example, take a look at this tree, or take a look at this car, and then you're promoting a health supplement, or take a look at this whatever, something. So you grab the attention by having a pattern interrupt here. For example, I remember one dental VSL where they were like, take a look at this pair of teeth, and they were like 2,500 years old. So great pattern interrupt, one of the best ways to grab attention. Another one, which sounds a bit, how to say, a bit boring, but at the same time, it's one of the, and I've talked to a lot of vendors and I've seen it from my own copy as well, is when you use the if you've been. For example, if you've been struggling with A, B, C, then please pay close attention to this video. Or if you've been struggling with weight, with excess weight, you can find jeans at the shop or something else. Or for example, if you've been struggling with high blood sugar, crazy cholesterol levels, and another pain point, then please pay close attention to this video. So the idea here is that you're talking about pain points. So you're hitting them with the pain points, and this could be a very, very good lead as well. Another one is the so-called horror lead, where it could be something like, hey, Dad, or Dad, is Mom going to heaven? Or, hey, Daddy, is Mommy going to die? Probably without hey. But the idea here is that it's a horror lead. It transports you in a very, very bad situation, and it just grabs your attention. For a dating niche, it could be, that was the moment I realized she was cheating on me or something. Or on a cold September night in New York City, I found my former wife already cheating with my best man, something like this. So this is horror lead because it leads to horror story. Okay, then after the lead and the headline comes the background story, and it could be for especially for health VSLs or TSLs. It's usually coming from either a doctor, a professor, or some medical person, or a regular person. So I'm gonna read all these three as examples. So, for example, hey, my name is Dr. Jenna Smith. I'm one of the leading XYZ doctors. It could be uh, gut doctors, it could be weight loss doctors, could be something else. In the US, with over, let's say, 15 years of experience and private practice in Los Angeles, California, whatever. So the idea here is that you start with a background story. You don't mention that in the lead too much because people don't really care about that. The headline and the lead, you only care about generating as much curiosity as possible. And yeah, then you start talking about you because people need to relate to the narrator or the hero in the story. Here's another example. Hi, my name is Professor John Thompson. I'm a former, let's say, um, blood sugar sufferer or something like this with medical training, and I have groundbreaking news for you. This actually could be used also in the lead, but yeah, medical training. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you about how I turned my world upside down because I did A, B, and C. So that's another way to build a background story. And then here's where, like, this is great because they are coming from a very credible person, and this is coming from a very regular person. For example, my name is Melissa Wilson. I'm not a medical doctor, and I don't have an advanced degree in medicine, for example, or gastroenterology or nutrition or something, or I don't have an advanced degree in skincare or whatever, something. So the idea is like, I don't have that, but, and then you're going to continue talking about why they should listen to you. All right, so you'll probably never see in such VSLs a person who is a lawyer, who is very well off. These people have to be regular people because most of the people in the US and in most countries are regular people, so they relate to regular people. Of course, if you have a spokesperson that's a doctor or a professor of medicine or some kind of professor, that's great as well because they have a lot of authority. And here you're placing the focus more on relatability and how people can relate to those people, to the spokesperson. Then you have most of the time a horror story. So here's an example that I can read for you. I just don't know how much longer I can keep this up. Beth confessed, her voice strained. It's like I'm doing everything on my own these days. The dog, the house, the bills. I'm drowning here. I've found a lawyer and I'm considering separation. Heartbreak, rage, and desperation surged through me. I had no idea Beth and I had drifted so far apart, and tears streamed down my face. So here's where he is realizing that his wife is going to be leaving him very, very soon unless he changes something. So that's kind of the horror story, and it comes after the background story because that's where you, like, the main character finally realizes they have to do something, otherwise their world is going to fall apart. And after that, they have the discovery story, which could be something like the next day I started searching for more scientific methods to solve my problem. It could be blood sugar, it could be ED, it could be weight loss, it could be prostate issues, it could be skincare issues, many, many different things. Most doctors said that it's caused by a lack of A or B, but that wasn't my case. So here you're trying to disqualify three common reasons most people think something occurs. In fact, I discovered many people who suffer from constipation, for example, have adequate fiber intake. So if you here, for example, if you're talking about constipation, you can say that most doctors said it's caused by a lack of fiber or not drinking enough water. And then you're saying that this person discovered that it's not about that, actually. And I also learned that laxatives can't cure constipation. Obviously, this you're saying can't cure, so maybe can't fix or can't can't overcome constipation. Is better actually than cure, overcome. So this is a discovery story. You're discovering the how you came out of the solution, and then this is one of the most important elements of a VSL, and probably even more important than the headline and the lead is the big idea or mechanism, where you reveal your solution and why people should listen to you. So it's super important to nail this, and you have to do it in a very simple language. So here's an example. Now pay close attention to this next part because it's very important. Dr. Jenkins warned us. You see, according to a recent study from the elite journal of medical sciences, for example, there's a crossroads moment in the middle of the night that determines what happens with your cells. This is a very specific time in the middle of the night that controls whether or not your cells become, let's say, toxic cells or something like that, or fat cells, or I don't know, something. Or they go to do other important functions in your body, like rebuilding your tissues. That's right. And then obviously this continues. But the idea here is that you're revealing the mechanism and the big idea in very simple language. Obviously, you're using some resources that are credible. For example, there's a journal, or maybe you can say, according to a recent study by Oxford University, blah, 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 something. So, yeah, this is one of the most important elements, and you need to really nail it. Maybe I will have actually different videos for every single part of the VSL. But for now, we are focusing on the structure, and we are almost halfway through. And then I'm gonna continue in the next video. But after the big idea or mechanism, it's actually trying formula. But there should be 7 actually. So as soon as we were back home, Mary took a spoonful of the herbs and went to sleep. The next day, she didn't notice anything different. However, the second night, she slept without waking up for 9 hours straight. When she got out of bed, she stepped on the scale and noticed she was 4 pounds lighter. Of course, that didn't mean anything. After 7 years of struggle, she knew not to get too excited because another solution has worked or had worked. But every morning that followed, as the formula was doing the benefits, she began shedding, for example, pounds, or getting into old dresses, or she began seeing her blood sugar stabilize and have great energy, balanced mood, blah, blah, blah. So lots of benefits here. So as you can see, here you're saying how the person is actually trying the formula. And if it's coming from a doctor, the doctor can be testing it on their patients. And again, this should be number 8 here. So the next part is testing it on more people, because even if this worked great for this person, it sounds like very easy. Like, hey, I tried this, it worked, and then I'm selling it. And also, as you can actually see here, you're actually saying it didn't work immediately. Didn't notice anything. The second day, there are some benefits. Obviously, that shouldn't be like, it should be like 2 pounds or even 1 pound lighter, a pound, because it doesn't make sense to be on the second day. But of course, that didn't mean anything after years of struggle. So you're relating. Most people don't see results immediately, and they are not getting this magical formula. So they're trying the formula, they're getting some results after a few days, and then they're testing it to more people. Here's an example. Thankfully, testing wasn't the problem. Mary had a lot of friends who wanted to know her secret. So when the new batch arrived in a few days, we continued taking it and gave a handful of the ingredients to 15 of Mary's friends. We knew the formula was powerful, but the results astounded us. 13 out of 15 women got these results in less than 6 weeks. For the other 2, where they didn't get great benefit, but all of them reported some other benefits, like, let's say, sleeping better, feeling less stressed, and having more energy. So the idea here is that they're testing on more people, but they're not getting amazing results. They're getting great results, but they're not like everybody lost 100 pounds or everybody lowered their blood sugar by 15 points or whatever. It shouldn't be too crazy or unbelievable, because people will leave your TSL or VSL. But you have to test it. People need to struggle a little bit more. They can't get amazing results. Yada yada yada. So We're going to section number 9, manufacturing struggles. So again, most copywriters and business owners rush through this section, and it's very important not to do it because it becomes unbelievable again. Because when you're saying, for example, hey, and then we found the manufacturer and you started producing it, and here's the product. No, it's not like that. It doesn't happen. People have to struggle. So here's an example. Now, despite having all these raving results, we were still facing a huge problem when Dr. Jenkins, I think, sourced the original ingredients and they perfected the formula with this blend and 4 other, for example, blood sugar lowering ingredients or fat busting ingredients or prostate enhancing or something like that, skincare boosting. Anyways, the cost of these top shelf ingredients was astronomical, so much so that a month's supply was now more than $500. A small price to pay for all these benefits, but still not cheap. So I called Dr. Jenkins, for example, and we both agreed it was worth speaking to a manufacturer. Unfortunately, we faced another issue. Only a few manufacturers had access to these ingredients at the purity the doctor required. And after 4 months of negotiations, we settled on one company that had access. Blah, blah. So you're seeing how we are saying a huge problem. Speaking to a manufacturer, unfortunately, they couldn't find good manufacturers, so they had to devote 4 months of negotiation, 2 negotiations. And as you can see, this is called manufacturing struggles and the idea or issues. The idea here is that they have to struggle, and it's the same everywhere around the copy, because if things sound too easy, they are not believable. Okay, well, this should be 10, 11, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to fix that. But in the next video, I'm going to be revealing the product review section, the ingredients, how you can enhance the formula. This is not needed, but it would be good. The AOV money close, we're going to the money close. This is one of the most important elements in the close. Then we have the money back guarantee, bonuses, crossroads close, and an FAQ. So a lot of exciting stuff for next time. I need to change these numbers. I'm going to change them after that. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below, especially with examples. And if you are enjoying the content I put on YouTube, give me a follow or subscribe to my channel. And next week, I'm going to be sharing the second part of this the structure of high converting long form VSL. Stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Cheers.